I got my eyes scanned today by WorldCoin in LA. I think this is one of the first times this was available in the US. So WorldCoin is a project backed by Sam Altman of OpenAI, as well as some of the big shot Silicon Valley tech entrepreneurs and investors. So part of this project is a cryptocurrency token. Now, I'm not a crypto guy. This is not a crypto channel. This channel is about AI. But this is adjacent to it. This is related to AI. So quick disclaimer, nothing here is financial advice. Nothing here is medical advice. To participate in this, you have to give your iris scan, your eye scan to WorldCoin. Many people are strongly against giving this information to them, this data to them. I myself would normally be very hesitant. I myself decided to do it for a few reasons. One is I do report on AI. So I'm kind of doing this from a journalistic angle. Kind of like that guy that infiltrated that biker gang and lived with them for a year so he can write a book about it. This is kind of like that. This is all for you. The other part was that I was near LA this morning, so that was part of my decision. So Sam Altman raised several important problems that AI will bring and how WorldCoin is attempting to solve some of those problems. The goal here is to do a couple of things as AI becomes a bigger and bigger part of the world. So you can think of WorldCoin as three things. One is an ID, two as money/currency, and three as this global payment system. So it all starts with this machine that scans your eye called the Orb. This is there to make sure that you're a unique human, and it's going to prevent you from making another account. You can only make one account. Next, you have your WorldCoin app, aka the World app. That's your digital wallet, as well as the place where you receive your grants, your weekly free distributions of WorldCoin. So you can think of it like a direct deposit, but instead of dollars going into your bank, this is WorldCoins going into your app. To get started, all you need to do is go, first download the app, then go to where one of these orbs are in person and look at it for 30 to 60 seconds. That's how long it takes. So my experience was really fast. There was one orb and 3 people ahead of me. I think I was done within 5 minutes. Looks like there was over 2 million people that signed up at the time. So I'm somewhere just over the 2 million. So the app right now is experiencing massive traffic. So things are slow and many of the functions are disabled. Each app has a wallet where you can attach your Bitcoin and Ethereum to. And you can also locate nearby orbs so that you can go there and get scanned. And then you get a little ID, an image of an ID that's your ID to use the app. So that's about it in the app right now, really. So there's a grant page where you can claim your weekly distributions, but that's not available yet. It's coming soon. Likely they're going to want to give people some time to be able to join before they start out giving out this money. But the rollout's kind of slow, so there's plenty of time. It doesn't seem like too many people are aware of this happening quite yet. Although, to be fair, Sam Altman has been talking about it for quite some time. He's been telling us exactly what he's going to do and what he's going to launch. And this is just him continuing on his plan. But as I was driving through LA, one thing occurred to me. By the way, there are people that love LA for its energy, for its people, for its culture. I am not one of those people. I really try to avoid LA, and every time I find myself in LA, I question all my life decisions that led up to that point. But one thing that I found very interesting is that I saw a lot of people with picket signs. There was a protest for the Writers Guild, the Writers' Strike, I believe they referred to it. So there was a lot of them out there marching around the studio that I assume that they work for. And it wasn't just on one street. There was like 4 or 5 different spots with a bit of people marching around with these picket signs. The surrounding area also has a lot of the homeless population, like most of LA, in fact, and California in general. In fact, as I was exiting the freeway, and unfortunately I didn't catch this on camera, but there was one gentleman that rolled out right in front of my car on one of those little kids' bikes, but the tires were missing. It was just the metal rims that he was riding on. It was bizarre. I wish I had captured that video because I think that would really help you immerse yourself into this trip to really put you there on the spot. But a lot of this was happening as I was driving to that place. It seemed kind of ironic because all of this somehow seems related. So Sam Altman is rolling out AI. They can do a lot more than most people realize right now, but the most obvious thing it can do is write. And so this is one of the big concerns for this writer's strike. They want to get paid more and make sure that the AI doesn't take their job. That's one of the demands that they have. One picture I saw online was, the guy who played Saul Goodman, Bob Odenkirk. He's holding up a sign saying something along the lines of, "I'm not going to memorize lines written by a computer." There's a lot of people on board with this idea that we don't want AI writing our stories and writing our scripts, etc. They're trying not to get displaced by AI. Meanwhile, a lot of the homeless people, you can argue, are also displaced due to rising costs, automation, etc. The reality of that is it's kind of complicated. There's a lot of hard to navigate political issues there. California has something like a quarter or a third of the nation's homeless population. So 75,000 in LA County, for example, which is staggering to think that there's in that one county in LA, there's 75,000 people on the streets. And that's not because no one cares or because there's no money being spent on this. There's no political action on this. There is. There's a lot of political attention. There's a lot of assistance going to the people. There's a lot of various different organizations that are trying to help, but there's just no easy solutions. So as I'm driving through all of this to find this office suite where I would get my eyes scanned and get a bunch of crypto tokens for my participation, I could not help but think that like all of this is kind of related and that I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready for the wave that AI will bring. So I'm very excited about AI and the progress it will bring, but I think the speed at which it's progressing, the speed at which it's going to wash over everybody, it's so much faster than our ability to deal with the changes that it's going to bring to society, to the economy, etc. Let's get back to WorldCoin and AI because I'm out of my depth here. I don't really have a clue about how to fix it or any solutions necessarily. It was just a little bit strange to me to see all of that happening on the same day in one 30-minute trip, and that it was all somehow related. Anyways, let's get back to it. But my point was that the one thing that I agree with Sam Altman about is that we need to start thinking about this now. So maybe WorldCoin is a terrible solution for this and we need something else. Maybe this is just a scam that's not going to go anywhere. But we do need to start thinking about something, some way to get ready for the AI wave that is coming. So, here's, once I got to the office, the parking was good. This is 5570 Melrose Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90038. And that's across from the Paramount studio that's getting picketed. So, overall, it was a very nice little pocket, chill area, good parking, clean, as clean as LA gets. So I walked in, the orb was on a table. There was a few people ahead of me. I set up an appointment. Every single person was pretty obviously in tech in some way or another. So I set up an appointment, but really didn't need one. I ended up going 30 minutes before my scheduled time. So overall, it was really fast and easy. I was in and out in 5 minutes. Very painless. They gave me a little sticker that says unique human on it. And also a shirt that says unique human on it. So there's that. Let's dive back into WorldCoin and what it is and why it's connected to AI. So again, as I mentioned, think of WorldCoin as three things. It's an ID, it's a currency, and it's a global payment system / marketplace. So first, it's an ID. So it's important to understand that there are many important reasons why it would be helpful to have every person in the world cataloged digitally somehow. It would help us understand how to help people and make the world a better place. Also, it could potentially be a nightmare. Certainly, we've seen many examples in history where corporations and government collecting data on people that's been damaging to the people, that's been abused and horrible stuff happened. Now, with the rise of AI, another important reason why IDs are important is because of a threat of something that's called a Sybil attack. So right now, today, for example, I could create, with the help of ChatGPT, some script that would create many fake online profiles on Twitter and Reddit, etc. And then I can use ChatGPT to have it create unique content, have them act like real humans, have them interact, gain some following, etc. So then I can use them to coordinate attacks to disrupt various networks, to affect voting, for example, some sort of a resource allocation. I can manipulate data. I can do a lot of stuff. Recently I think we saw somebody basically get in trouble for creating a network that had like 99% fake bots and profiles, and it was, pulling in investment money, and most of it was fake. So there's a lot of things where fake AI people or fake scripts could create a lot of damage. That's referred to as a Sybil attack. So it's basically, in a nutshell, one person having multiple fake profiles, acting as multiple sort of fake people. And so real fast, nothing here is meant to be my approval or disapproval of something. I'm just laying out the thought process here. So I'm not saying this is good or bad or whatever. But the thought process goes something like this. Having each digital profile be verified as a real human being could be beneficial to protect against attacks of this sort. Now, the obvious way of doing that would be to have your real name attached to this profile and your real name verified by some government ID. That would be the most sort of basic and straightforward way of doing that. But not everybody wants to have their real identity out there. And really, we don't need their real identity. We don't really care what their real name is necessarily. We just need to know if that account belongs to a real unique human, and that real unique human doesn't have a million accounts. That's really what we care about. And this is where WorldCoin comes in. So they have this machine called the Orb. They manufacture it themselves. They design it, engineer it themselves. They stress that it's not made in China. I believe it's manufactured in Germany. What it does is when you look into it, it scans your eyes. It creates a little iris code, as they call it, that is now unique and can be used once to create your ID. And so in theory, and how it's supposed to work is that you would not be able to make another ID. So only one ID per one unique set of eyes. So Sam Altman and Alex Blania went on the Bankless podcast today to talk about the system. So basically, as far as I can tell, their claim is that once your eyes are scanned, the iris code is stored, everything else gets deleted, all your other biometric data gets deleted. So none of your info is stored, but the iris scan prevents the same person from creating another account, meaning that nothing from the information that is stored can necessarily be traced back to you. The only information that they would have is they would be able to tell when somebody else scans their eyes, are they already in the system or not? Now, a lot of people sort of pushed back against this saying, including Edward Snowden, who said, hey, you're still gathering data. There's still ways to match up the iris scan to people's eyes, so don't do it. And so that's the ID that you need to operate the app in order to participate in this sort of economy. Next, there's the WorldCoin token. That's the cryptocurrency part of this. So it's on the back of Ethereum, if I understand correctly. So it's part of the Ethereum network. But Ethereum was founded by Vitalik Buterin, who interestingly, he was part of the Thiel Fellowship, the program that was running by Peter Thiel. And so he pays these college-age kids that have big projects and high IQs, he pays them money to skip the college and go build their projects. And it has a pretty staggering win rate. Like a lot of big names come out of that, but this was one of them. So he created Ethereum. So I think that put him to $1 billion worth at some point. I think now it's saying that it's down to half, 555 million. But like a lot of these people made staggering amounts of money, and he's still building. We're a lot of people believe we're still in the very early stages of this. And so Vitalik, by the way, he did comment on WorldCoin. He had a few criticism of the orb, saying it could be manipulated by OpenAI itself. There's certain potential security concerns, and it's centralized, and they could potentially add, create some sort of backdoor to add people to it, etc. But he also stated that, he doesn't necessarily have a better solution. He's just pointing out some potential problems. But it didn't sound like he was against it. He was just saying, well, here's the good part of it, here's the bad. The good part that he said was the fact that user privacy, the people that are getting their eyes scanned, this would be a good way to keep their identity private, to keep it secret. They didn't have to put all their information out there in order to participate in this. And so with the WorldCoin, and so here's some notes about the WorldCoin. So there's going to be a total of 10 billion of these tokens. It sounds like they want to give at least one to every human being on the planet. And those will be slowly dripped out over a 15-year period, starting right around this time. So this is July 2023. So sometime around this time, they're going to start doing these. They're going to start doing these grants where people can receive the tokens in their account. So in the white paper, it's specified that 75% of the total ultimate supply of the tokens will be available to the WorldCoin community. So that's sort of like everybody, the people. While 13.5 will be available for investors, 9.8 for the initial development team, and 1.7 set aside as reserve. Anyway, so I'll kind of end it right here because I don't want to go too deep into the white paper. Again, this is not a crypto channel. If you guys are interested, comment down below. I'm more than happy to do a little video going over everything point by point. It's just, this isn't really AI. This is more crypto. But I do think that this is important to keep an eye on. So Sam Altman hinted that if this gets traction, eventually this could be used, for everybody to have some sort of vote for AI governance. So, if you have, 6 billion people on this and we can all sort of vote with our tokens, he could, for example, and everybody is a unique person and unique individual, then perhaps there's a way for us to implement some sort of voting system where he might say, how do you want to handle this issue with AI? How do you want to handle this issue? And everybody kind of puts in their vote. And so that would be a fairly democratic process to move AI forward. Certainly, if it's implemented correctly, it certainly seems like it could work well. Who knows? But either way, I think it's important to pay attention to this project, whether it succeeds or not. It's important to pay attention to this project because if it succeeds, it would behoove you to at least have some awareness of crypto and what the implications and limitations of it are. And unfortunately, we did see a lot of the insanity with people, gambling with crypto, the people buying JPEGs for millions of dollars, the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, whatever. that whole side of it was kind of a nightmare. Unfortunately, the speculation frenzy, it does attract con artists and gamblers and all sorts of unsavory characters. We saw a lot of people go to jail for various bad things that they did, and several big companies going under, tons of lawsuits, etc. But besides all of that, and that's unfortunately the part of the crypto that a lot of people are familiar with, but the original point of, for example, Bitcoin was really, hey guys, let's have a form of money that the governments can't take from us. And let's have something that they can't just dilute to zero by printing an infinite amount of money. So it was basically saying, hey, we need a form of money, something that we can put our wealth into, our money, our wealth into, that is not controlled by some third party that may or may not have our best interests at heart. So that in itself, that's not a bad idea. Does Bitcoin solve that issue? I have no idea, but the idea itself isn't bad. And so here with WorldCoin, it says, hey, let's figure out how we can have proof of humanness, to prove if you're a human on a global scale while keeping your identity private. You need some passport that people say, hey, I'm not a bot. I'm a real unique individual, like the sticker says. But I don't necessarily want to prove it by giving you my ID, my government ID with my address on it. I don't want you necessarily knowing my name. I just want you to know that, hey, the person you're talking to is human. That's all. And then if I want to share the rest of the information with you, I could, but I don't have to. Again, that idea, that's not a bad idea. Now, is it going to succeed, or is it going to be a casino filled with shady characters? I have no idea, but we do need a solution for that. And if this fails, we're still going to need a solution for that. So keep an eye on this, because whether it succeeds or fails, it's still an important data point. If it succeeds, that's going to mean something. If it fails, that's going to mean something. None of this is meant to get you to buy some weird crypto tokens on some foreign marketplaces or anything like that. I do not recommend you do that. Stay far, far away. But also don't completely dismiss this thing, because this or something like this will be implemented either by OpenAI or some government or some other agency, but it's coming, and it's going to affect all of us. So my name is Wes Roth, and I thank you for watching.